Welcome everyone to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are an open, welcoming, and inclusive community grounded in love, providing opportunities for spiritual growth for seekers of all ages and stages. We actively live our values of diversity, compassion, and justice to humanity and the earth. In Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world, the symbol of the lighted flame in a chalice unites members in worship and symbolizes our faith in action. It represents the warmth of community and the flame of hope. The flaming chalice, like our faith, stands open to receive new truths that pass the tests of reason, justice, and compassion. If you're joining us on Zoom and have your own chalice, then please join me in lighting this flame that represents our connections to one another.
Our call to worship this morning is a prayer that was written by the Reverend Norbert Capek, who conceived of the first Unitarian flower communion in 1923, over 100 years ago. In the name of Providence, which implants in the seed the future of the flower, and in our hearts the longing for people to live in harmony. In the name of the highest, in whom we move and who makes the parents, the siblings, the lover and the loner what they are. In the name of the sages and great religious leaders who sacrificed their lives to hasten the coming of the age of mutual respect. Let us renew our resolution sincerely to be real brothers and sisters, regardless of any kind of bar which estranges us from each other. In this resolve, may we be strengthened knowing that we are family. That one spirit, the spirit of love, unites us, and we endeavor for a more perfect and a more joyful life. So may it be. And now let us move into an attitude of stillness and meditation with these words borrowed from David Bomberg. Say what you will about the economy of life, or the serious nature of evolution. Flowers are irrefutable proof of nature's extravagance. Everywhere you look, in every nook and cranny during this season of life, the flowers are there. Spilling down a bank from a shopping mall parking lot, buttercups display a shower of gold for drivers who speed by too quickly to grasp the glory poured out freely for all to see. Along forest paths, in dark and shaded lanes, where few people ever walk, under tall trees, purple and white flowers on tall stalks proclaim the glory of life. In vacant fields, where not even a worn path exists to suggest human passage, white daisies mimic the sun high in the sky, creating on earth a semblance of heaven's glory. So long as the sun is strong, the flowers come up and bloom for their season and are replaced by others. Crocus to daffodil, to tulip, azalea to dogwood, to rhododendron. Lilac to peony, to iris to rose, daisy to chicory, to aster, to goldenrod. One after another, filling our world with a riot of color, with beauty we cannot create or earn or deserve. The daisies come despite us and stake their claim in parking lots and ballparks and hidden corners. Even some of the tamed flowers occasionally burst through generations of conditioning and a prim tulip suddenly appears all alone under a tree where a tulip has no business being, and a clump of iris makes a home in the forest preserve. The flowers, you see, do not bloom for us. They do not care whether or not we see them. They grow and bloom because they are full of life, because the history of species impels them to display their glory, not to the world, but as part of the world, because the world would be incomplete without the riot of blossoms which expresses nature's voiceless joy in life. It is true that flowers are fragile. Their lives are short. Sometimes a wildflower taken from its root by a small, hot hand does not even survive to reach the kitchen door. Even when left to live out its cycle, the flower is soon gone, reminding us that nature knows nothing of permanence, that our lives, like that of the flower, are only part of an endless cycle, of many endless cycles. Perhaps that is why we love flowers with a bittersweet love. Let us take a time of silence together.
The flower communion, which is sometimes called the flower ceremony or our flower festival, is an annual ritual that celebrates beauty, human uniqueness and diversity, and community. As Megan mentioned, in 1923, Norbert Capek wanted a ceremony to unify his diverse congregation in Prague, Czechoslovakia. He was the head of the Prague Liberal Religious Fellowship, or he had founded the Prague Liberal Religious Fellowship. And so Norbert turned to the beauty of the countryside, to the beauty of flowers. He asked his congregants to bring a flower to church from their gardens, the fields, or the roadside. He invited each person to put their flower in a single vase. There was the church community, united in diversity. And then following the service, each person could take one flower, a different one than the one that they had brought. This simple service was such a success that it was then held yearly in Prague. Now, the story does take a dark turn. With the coming of the Second World War and the Nazi occupation of Prague, the Unitarian Church of Prague and Reverend Capek came under the scrutiny of the Gestapo. They were deemed too dangerous to the Reich, and Norbert Capek was sent off to Dachau. It was said, though, that he continued to minister to those in the camp until his end. After the war, the flower ceremony was brought to the United States by Reverend Moyer Capek, Norbert Capek's wife. She was a recent immigrant to New York and was committed to continuing to tell his story and to tell about the importance of every individual. And so it spread to Unitarian Universalist congregations across the country. Now, as a UU congregation, we do not have centuries of rituals and traditions behind us. In fact, most of us have come here because it gives us a new start. It's a place to find our own way. But we still here at Live Oak have chosen to honor Norbert Capek's flower communion just about every spring. Because I hope that it can be an important touchstone, an important tradition, and that brings us some comfort. It is undeniable that these days our mood can be called charitably concerned. Concern for the world, concern for the country, our community, our congregation. but we should feel home here. If you have been here for 40 years or 40 minutes, I want you to feel that this can be a place of shelter. Now, maybe there is something that feels unfamiliar, it's new, it's changed. We have changed. We don't do things like we used to, and frankly, we aren't who we used to be. Or maybe this is all new to you, and you aren't sure what you're supposed to do or be or what happens next. Well, this morning, we are participating in a communion, a joining of spirits, a ritual that we hope gets us thinking about our place here. Do we fit in? Are we welcome after all these years or all these minutes? And in placing a flower here, you are in a small way serving to make our altar more beautiful. You have given generously to this community, and unlike writing a check or giving of your precious time, we can now see all of those gifts laid out before us. We have a visualization, the colors and shapes, the forms and textures, and they aren't some even matching display. The wonder is, like our other contributions to this community, there is a diversity of offerings. No careful planning by the worship associates or an extra trip to the florist could have created this altar. Our congregation can only be built by all of us working in our own way, with our own style and strength. Each of us has our own ideals and our own goals. And what that generates is not a uniform display, not 100 matched roses and a beautiful star. It brings us something more rare, more wild, and more beautiful. And it can't be built without all of us. Our diversity is the source of that beauty. And if you're thinking that you haven't really done anything, you may have arrived this morning, haven't forgotten your flower, or maybe it was just too much for today. There are Sundays when it is a lot to ask for us to get our shoes tied. And maybe there just isn't any more to give, but this altar was not built by Trader Joe's or the farmer's market. It was built one by one, each of us offering up the extent of what they had to offer today. And so our intention is that by placing whatever seed is within us, whatever small dream we have, when we arrange them all together, we can see. Look what we can create together. Now, for those of us joining on Zoom, I'm going to ask Jim if he can put the cameras up again on the screens in the sanctuary. And if you're on Zoom and you have a flower, then turn on your camera and hold it up so that we can see it. In this way, adding more to the beauty that we are all creating. Let us bless these flowers. In recognition of all that is here for you and for us, we breathe together the beauty and the spirit of what we have built. Whatever is in your heart right now, be it love, excitement, hope, let's reflect that back onto our altar to brighten the colors and lift us up, so that we can feel the light of the community that shines down to celebrate this gathering. We bless these flowers with our light, that it may be seen all throughout and beyond. May it be so. The final act of our communion ritual is to share out this bowl of light. These flowers are not here to make the vases beautiful or to benefit the sanctuary. These are the gifts that are meant to be given. And you can help us by coming forward to collect them. So I'm going to ask each of us to come forward and to take with you a new flower, a new song to fill your heart. There are plenty. If you didn't bring a flower this morning, then by all means come up and take two. These are our gifts to be given. As Kevin plays music, I invite you to approach the altar down the center aisle and then move back to your seats through the side aisle.